Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Live broadcasting from the West Coast. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, and we will get this thing started. If you're in the replay, stay put. Can you hear me? Let me know. It's a good day. It is a good day. Thank you so much, Wah Wang. I see you. I will be right with y'all. Don't go nowhere. We're all the way into week 6, day 29 of the Diddy trial. Prosecution has rested their case, y'all, and the defense is up to bat. They also argued an acquittal motion, child. You know how that went, right? I'm sure you do. Okay, thank you for the sound check. All right, we're gonna let the algorithm do what it does. It's a live stream. Stay put. If you are in the replay, hang out. I mean, you can fast forward ahead about 6 minutes, or else you can just chill out, listen to some tunes. You know, I promote my son's music, PJ Corleone. Yes, the Odd Father. Yeah, let's play. This is called Fireworks. No, not that one.
Yeah. They like where he gone. They wanna see me fall. They praying I don't make it. But I'm already gone. They trying to shoot me out the sky. You gon' see fireworks tonight. I told my mama not to worry. They couldn't get me if they tried. Yeah. I've been through too much, they shot my shooter. We kill our own kind, they shooting schools up. I heard you on now, I don't trust rumors. I tried to calm down, I'm still way too much. My stress way too much, I can't give 2 fucks. Ain't got none left, I gave my 2 up. I threw the deuce up at dudes who grew up. I'm still a grown kid who sip a juice cup. Don't care whose crew's up, it was nice to know ya. I almost screwed up and made slight maneuvers. I cut the snake's head just like Medusa. And I'm still waiting for them to do something. But while I'm right here, I might just write here. The things I daydream will give you nightmares. The street light's still out, now that's a night tear. I risk my life each night for this night air. Peace. Yeah. See, I'm all in my bag. You ain't fucking with me, cool, ain't got no problem with that. Airplane mode, ho, I'm far from attached. I don't wish I wish my father was back. Bitches used to treat a nigga like I didn't exist. Now I'm the only nigga popping, coming straight out the mid. I ain't got not one regret, shit, I did what I did. Niggas trying to hash it out, I put my hash in the split. You know, I'm the hottest in the city for life. You got kids and you still beefing, I feel bad for your wife. I could've gave your hoe my pipe, but she just wasn't my type. If we enemies, and that shit for life. My main girl indecisive, she might just leave me tonight. I got a lot on my plate and even more on my mind. Every time I leave the house, my family pray I don't die. I made it past 25, I wasn't supposed to survive. Yeah, this year I cut a lot of people off. And the bitches I was seeing, they just weren't for me at all. Gave a couple niggas jobs, but they didn't work for me at all. The alliance, I'm the boss, this ain't gonna work for me at all. You can leave, you me at all. I got niggas trying to murk me, ain't a person I could call. I don't take this shit to heart, I shoulda knew it from the start. Now when I see you in my city, I'm like, who the fuck are y'all? See, I'm all in my bag. They ain't fucking with me, cool, ain't got no problem with that. Phone on airplane mode, ho, I'm far from attached. I don't wish a nigga would, I wish my father was back. Yeah, see, I'm all in my bag. You ain't fucking with me, cool, ain't got no problem with that. Phone on airplane mode, ho, I'm far from attached. I don't wish a nigga would, I wish my father was back. Corleone back at it again. No, they mad, I had to get the win. In my bag, I'm grabbing dividends. On the Ave, macking with a bitch. Can't be stagnant, passionate as shit. This my girl ain't passing nigga shit. This my world, I grab it in my fist. On my own, I didn't ask for shit. Only be with bass up in the booth. Faking niggas hate to hear the truth. If you hit, I bet I hit her too. When I'm finished, send her back to you. Little niggas send them back to school. Remember running fades up after school. Ain't got shit to say or shit to prove. Say they will, but never make a move. I ain't got no time for the drama. Might run up a check and take the gang to Benihana. You do what you can, nigga, I do what I wanna. If he got a pussy, nigga, run up. I don't need to pay no gunner. Niggas love to hate another nigga on the come up. Throwing shade at me, trying to kill my summer. It's okay, cause I got plenty of Henny and marijuana. So tell the hoes to slide. Niggas out here trying to cuff, I let these hoes decide. If the feds pull me over, she gon' hold the 9. Before she gave me brain, she told me it would blow my mind. Don't blow my high. She said I love you, roll my eyes. I'm cold as ice. Don't know why you look so surprised. Told you guys, I've been fly, you own the rise. I killed the beat. Even though there's more to life, they're more defied. Shouldn't have to warn you twice. She said I'm yours, you're mine. I said you're sorta right. Broke niggas only good at giving poor advice. The alliance, motherfucker, please ignore the hype. See, I'm all in my bag. They ain't fucking with me, cool, ain't got no problem with that. Phone on airplane mode, ho, I'm far from attached. I don't wish a nigga would, I wish my father was back. Yeah.
We here, we're back. Happy Tuesday, June 24th. I'm having an amazing week so far. Had a great weekend. Hope you did too. We trying to move ahead though, right? We are in week 7 of this trial. And this trial is about wrapped. Let's see what we got going on today. Hold on. Okay, so I'll be following the tweets of P. Diddy trial updates. Shout out to her for doing this good work. But I'm going to start with what the Washington Post had to say. Basically, they're letting us know there's been 6 weeks, well, past. Okay, we're in week 7, 34 witnesses, and hundreds of bottles of baby oil presented as evidence. The government is about to rest the case, which they have since this has been written this morning. And now the defense is planning a very brief witness-free presentation. A witness-free presentation. Let me say hi to everybody who is in the chat today. All right. I see you, Faye. Yes, you came in the building. We love that. Everybody gets applause. Wow, Wayne, shout out to you. The nosy goddess, my ego popped over here. Yeah, I was testing YouTube. I wasn't able to find my own live, so I had to go to my other channel, the Nosy Goddess, y'all. If you're not following the Nosy Goddess, please do so. Yeah. Oh, Michelle, what's going on? Ohio Queen, hug the babies. Hope everybody's great. Yes. Black Letter Law. What's going on, Black Letter Law? Hope all is well today. Oh, you're going to be on time today? On time for class? Love to hear it. Nia X, hey now. Yes. Nia, building. Miss Sunshine to you. He's here. Love that. Ray all day. What's going on? Yes. Good to see you. Cancer season is the reason. Ooh, somebody else has a birthday coming up. Eh? Yes. Shout out to the cancers. All right. What's going on, Trav? Yeah, right on time. Right. Faye said, I can't believe this trial is almost over. Yes, that's right. June 29th. What a special day. Shout out grandfather. I miss him so much. And shout out to you. All right, y'all. Let's get into things. All right. If you green, these sketch artists they be on one, child. KKK need more baby oil. Showing a text message that was displayed between Diddy and his right hand KK, who never ever took the stand, although her devices were used as evidence. Never took the stand. So that tells me this person might be looking at an indictment coming on, might be looking at getting arrested. I'm telling you. Shout out to you, Faye. See, let's just get into today's testimony. All right. Miss Jewel Mancy, she starts off by letting us know it's U.S. versus Sean P. Diddy Combs trial, day 29. Homeland Security agent Joseph C. to finish his cross and possible redirect today. Sean Diddy Combs, she said, currently seated, wearing an orange sweater, quite a departure from his usual neutral toned blue, gray, or beige sweaters. He's sifting through some documents. So he's trying to switch it up today, wearing orange. I believe the orange is the color of the third chakra, and the one representing the name, child. But yeah, confidence is the key to that one. He needs to boost his confidence. Somebody probably advised him to wear orange. He has yet to enter solar plexus. There it is. The solar plexus is what that is. The judge has blocked some and allowed others, like a message saying, be your little freak, and baby oil text suggesting they may link to alleged freak-offs. There's a restroom break. Okay, they're back. Okay, we're already on cross. Okay. She says Garagos said, please pull up exhibit 1406, dated December 21st, 2021. It involves Jane, Mr. Combs, Don, and Cabral. Please turn on the screens. Watch some videos. Start playback from the beginning and stop at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Okay, so fair warning. I believe these exhibits, or this cross exam, I think this is the cross exam. Yeah, of the agent. So this is going to be filled with freak offs, hotel nights, or what have you. And just a fair warning, child. Let me check Inner City Press, though, real quick. I want to see how he starts off. Looks like it might be about the same. Let's see. Okay, he says U.S. versus Sean Combs, day 29, final cross of U.S. summary witness. Then Rule 29 motion, Combs' case summations Thursday. Before the jury comes in, Combs' attorney, Estavio, she says, as we submitted overnight, we think it's relevant. Cassie's sex to Combs about what she wanted to do. Prosecutor Johnson says, these were acts with Mr. Combs in his office. They are simply not relevant. The judge says the U.S. objection is sustained. And he says here, Mr. Combs is inquiring into what Miss Ventura was going to do, and she replied, be your little freak. The prosecution adds, Miss Ventura is asking Mr. Combs for an explicit photo of himself. So it is about her boyfriend. The judge says, here I overrule the objection. Okay, attorney E. She says Miss Ventura writes she bought baby oil because she just couldn't stop herself. She was buying baby oil on her own. Prosecutor Johnson says we don't dispute she wanted to have sex with her boyfriend. The judge says the baby oil purchase seems for a freak off. Not the judge saying it. Then the reporter notes these arguments are based on something Combs attorney Estevao submitted to the judge last night, but it's not on the docket. Exactly when, and they're basically saying again, they opposed this type of communication, and the judge seems to have ordered to docket in real time. He's been bringing this up throughout the whole entire 7 weeks. So Combs' attorney Estevao, attorney E, they say Mr. Combs drugged people to make them do freak offs, but here he cancels a freak off because she's feeling sick. USA Johnson says there's no evidence the freak off was canceled. She wanted to have sex with her boyfriend. The judge says, let's hold off. Prosecutor Johnson says in this one, Mr. Combs asked her if she can freak off without taking drugs, and she says yes. It is being offered for its truth. It is hearsay. The judge says, I overrule the objection. Johnson says, here she says, I want my bank account to be right. We object. Attorney E says, this is Miss Ventura demanding money. It is a command of sorts, not. The judge says, and how is it relevant? Attorney E says, it goes to financial motive. The judge says, in 2017, I sustained the objection on 21135 on hearsay and 403 grounds. Prosecutor Johnson says the last one is 1417. It's about Miss Ventura decorating a hotel room and getting flowers on Valentine's Day. Attorney E says this is a S trafficking freak off as alleged by the government. This shows Miss Ventura set it up as a surprise to us. The judge says this is hearsay. I am sustaining that objection, but the defense can use her being presented with the layout of the hotel room, the flowers, the photo can come in, and the messages with them. And then the reporter is still noting and giving us insight as to the fact that this wasn't filed in the docket. So now the judge says, bring in the jury. Ignifilo says, can we have a restroom break? The judge says, fine. There is a break. And now they're back. Garrigo says, Your Honor, our arguments took so long that the jurors' devices goes off. Judge says, they are high tech. All rise. The jurors entered. Garrigo says, good morning. Pull up 1406 from December 21, 2021. Jane Combs and Don Cabral. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with inner city for now. Garrigo says, turn off attorney screens. We're going to watch some videos. Play from the 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Says public and press have no idea what jurors are being shown or not. One juror complains their devices say low battery. Garrigo says, so what does she say here? Agent C says, she writes, that was so effing sexy. Garrigo says, then she writes, I'm wet thinking about it. Heart eyes emoji. Now Paul is in the chat, but your chart doesn't list Cabral's message with Jane. See 3328. Garrigo says, now it's December 21st, 2021. She reaches out to Cabral to say Happy New Year, writes LMK, if you want to come tonight. What does Cabral say? Agent C says, he says, I'm cooking for my family, but tomorrow for sure. Garrigo says, not in your chart? He says no. Garrigo says, under Italian, let's see DX 3050. This is April 4th of 2022. Combs with Jane. You read Mr. Combs. Agent C says, Combs writes, I've been having crazy fantasies about Leo. You and Leo. He think about Leo. Then they have a picture of the text. I don't think you care, but let me see. And he says it here. I've been having crazy fantasies about Leo. It's really just Leo. He just threw her in there to put some type of barrier between him and Leo because he don't want to come out as all the way gay. And it's okay. It's okay, Diddy. If he would have just did that, he might not be in all this trouble. Crazy fantasies about Leo. So Agent C writes, Adderall is the greatest, LOL. And then Garrigo says, she writes to him with drool face emoji. Then in 1406, next is July 2022. You only reviewed what the government gave you, right? Agent C says, right. Garrigo says, Combs come over? He says, yes. Garrigo says, here, Jane says, my place is free tonight. Then she writes, I got on my knees and thank God for the health of my child and for your friendship. Then heart emojis, right? Agent C says, right. I'll correct you. It's Van Nuys. And then there's a laugh. Garrigo says, GX103, it's between Jane and Paul. Agent memorize the exhibit numbers. Garrigo says, so let's show it. And then they say it's not on the public screen. This is a message between Mr. Paul Arthur and Mr. Combs, who says staff is leaving. Garrigo says, this is the first mention of Anton, right? October 8th, 2. Agency says, yes, he shows up. And these photos, each 285, bracelet she is wearing. Agency says, I do. Public exhibit screen not on. Entirely unclear why not. Garrigo, that was from the reporter, and I'm pretty sure they forgot. Garrigo says, Jane writes, can you come with 2 Turks? What does he say? Agent C says, he says, yes, love. I have a passport, but not vaccination. Garrigo says, can you get to ATL, Cabral's base? A few days later, March 21st, 2023, she asked about Miami. Garrigo says, Jane writes, tonight was fun. Tonight was fun. What does he say? Agent C says, he says, had a great time with you, baby. Garrigo says, now April 2023, Jane, Combs, and Paul. He says, hey, Jane, true name, I'm available. Hey, Jane's true name, I'm available. And she asks about the 19th. And then Agent C says, yes. Garrigo says, Jane says I'll reach out. How about Pete? Acquittal is available. What does Combs respond? Agent C says, Combs says, okay, you find location? You in the mood? Garrigo says, Jane says, didn't know you were unsatisfied. I stopped and got a couple more outfits. Garrigo says, Jane writes, I know what you like, Daddy. At the London before you left for New York City, you did a film. You forgot it. You promised you wouldn't forget. Then smirky face. I'm coming, Daddy. That video you sent me was hot. Sweat emoji. Garrigo says, let's go back to GX 1406, May 19th through 20th, 2023. Jane, Combs, Paul, and Cabral. What does Mr. Combs write? He writes, is Chef still there? Still here? She says, no, LOL. Pull up text from the personal assistants. Agent C said, I don't know who. Garrigo says, Miss Coram writes, for hotel, they want fruit, outfits, shorts for him, size large, fruits and juices. She writes, are you hydrated? I'll be at one hotel residential side. Hey, hon, had a great time. Do you see that? Agent C says yes. Here, Jane writes to Mr. Combs, I love you. Can't wait to see you, with heart emojis. But now she writes, let's be positive. Remember how we turned it around at 1 star, right? Right. He says, you got Chef? Jane says no. Jane says, you know, I was trying for my chefy poo. Combs, Garrigo, Jane writes, are you coming up to LA? How much would it be to compensate for missing chef gig? Agent C says, he responds, sorry, love, I could have did it with enough heads up. Garrigo says, Mr. Combs writes, hurry up. She's at a hotel and she's horny as hell. Need help. Paul responds, LOL, right? Agency says, right. Garrigo says, and Mr. Combs sent Paul an image. Does it look like Shaq? He says, yes. The judge says, a brief sidebar. Then there's a side. Wow. I wonder if it's because Shaq's name got brought up. Shaq's picture because of the whole trifecta thing. I don't think Shaq was. That was more. It was Jordan. Magic. Wasn't it Jordan Magic Johnson? No, who was it? Whoever. Child, these people are crazy. Okay. So he says they're back from sidebar only for this. The judge says we're taking a break. Then there's a note from the report. This cross has already gone longer than was projected. Will they get to the defense case today? Why are the public exhibit screens left off for exhibit without Jane's name? Okay, so they come back at 11:56 a.m. Eastern time. Sean Combs in a brown sweater. Didn't she say he was in an orange sweater? Maybe he changed. Is poring over a document with his lawyer. Nicole Westmoreland then stands up to talk to Igniflo. All rise. Garagos is back to 1406. Mr. Combs writes to Paul, security knows to let you in the back, right? Combs says, just say P, not Paul. Jane writes, just to tell you I love you, listening to your music and making love with you. Partay, rose, whatever you were saying. Back to 1406. August 12th, 2023, he writes, movie night was off the chain. Garrigo says, she says, so we try something new tonight? He says, call Italian. She says, one hotel roof, good for drinks and light bites. Smiley face, kiss face, right? Agency says, right. He says, baby, I'm stressed out. Garrigo says, she says, I'm back to mommy mode. Garrigo says on September 19, 2023, that corresponds to many chats we looked at yesterday. Correspondence. Pull up 1407, not one by one, and there's laughter. Go to page 48. I want to highlight, I didn't think we're in the chart. DX3187, Combs writes, headed to ATA. Crazy. Jane writes, muy caliente, with a sweating face. That shit was different. All of it, that was September 24th, 2023, question mark. Agency says, yes. This message says, we had a great DAW. Garrigo says, Jane writes, Daddy want to see mommy be bad tonight, right? Slide that D in me at the restaurant, no water. Emojis, yes. Agency says, right. Garrigo says, she writes, I'm going to blow your mind tonight. Can't wait to lick your nipples. Agent says, right. Garrigo says, Jane, send more emojis, drool. She writes, it's sexy here in the hotel. Yeah, we need to run the freak store. Let's skip ahead to 55. She writes, I didn't have time to do my nails. And he says, Agency says, he writes, I effing love it. Garrigo says, let's just quickly look at, this is Jane and Combs. Agency says, correct. Garrigo says, line 913, September 30th. Jane writes, I love you, baby. Have a great show. This I won't repeat here, and there's laughter. There's no location entries until February 8th, 2024. Garrigo says, Christina Coram asked Jonathan Perez, how does he look? You could put him in front of someone, but he just took a full bar, so I think he'll be asleep soon. Now, can we turn off the public screen? So, and I'm just going to interject. They must be talking about Xanax, a full bar. Okay, the public screen has been turned off the whole time, they say. Gary says, here here you have flight records for Jane going to LA from LA to Miami 5 days before Combs posts IG video, right? Agency says right. Now a phone call from Anton to Jane, 0 seconds. What does that mean? Agency says the clock starts at ringing. The clock starts at ringing. Gergo says, we don't have the public screens on, so play this video. He says, we hear audio. Beautiful day like this, a bass playing. That was a note from the reporter. Gergo says, that was June 2024, right? Agency says, right. Let's play more video. Oh, 3 jurors' devices are not working. The judge says, we have some more devices charged up. Gergo says, we'll hear the music. Now play the entire video. Now in this one, let's jump ahead to minute 7 and 8. Now minute 19. Gergo says, almost done. Please stop it here. Do you see the message from Jane? I have the best memories. I have just a few to asking. I have a just few. Okay, I don't know what he's trying to say. To asking about 1409. Okay, so they want to ask a few about 1409, but bring up 1408. Do you see account transfer of $22,000? Agency says yes. In 1409, it was Jane Fuentes Transportation. Do you see that it has $151.99 for Jane's true name and also Cabral Williams? It's hard for me to see the lines. Can you use her up? The public screen is still off, he says, the reporter. Gergo says $324.50 and $760.25. Meanwhile, Combs passes a note to Nicole Westmoreland, still seated at his right, who then whispers in Agniflo's ear. Gergo says, let's go to page 96. Sean Combs' personal bank account records. Total due $74,000. There's an account transfer to the LLC. Agency says yes. Gergo says, Your Honor, can I have a moment? One more video and then we're done. The one that wasn't working this morning, turn off the attorney's screens. You viewed the metadata. Agency says, which chart? Gergo says, that's a great question, and laughs, and then says, play it. Gergo says, thank you, agent. Please go back to keeping New York City safe. And there's laughter. The judge asks if there's a redirect. The AUSA says briefly, we just see Sean Combs paying for the travel of Cabral Williams from Atlanta to Florida across state lines. Geragos objects. Prosecution asks, do the charge represent every text message in this case? Agency says no. Let's pull up for this date. Geragos says objection beyond the scope. AUSA says Miss Geragos. Judge says calls for a sidebar. And there is a sidebar. This thing is moving. Jordan, Kobe, and Shaq. So Shaq was in it. Okay, my bad. Wow. So he literally sent a picture of Shaq. I think that I saw some people talking about that, how they wanted to strike that or something. Because they don't want Shaq to be involved in this case, child. Okay, so they're back from sidebar. Comey says, in this time frame, did you see any messages between Jane and Mr. Combs that were sexual or affectionate in nature? Agency says no. Prosecution says no further questions. The judge says, do you rest? The prosecution says, subject to, and the judge says, jurors, take a break. The jurors leave. Comey says, we have essentially rested. We only may want to move for a few more corrections. The judge says, Mr. Agnifilo, are you ready to move? Alexander Shapiro says, we move under Rule 29. Inference is not enough. See U.S. versus Copeland, 2nd Circuit, 2012. Shapiro says, on count 1, Mr. Combs is entitled to a judgment of acquittal. The requirements of RICO have not been met. They have not shown the agreement to violate RICO, nor agreement to racketeering acts. nor agreement to two racketeering acts. Shapiro says the enterprise is more than a group of people. The enterprise's purpose here to map onto the racketeering acts, the S trafficking, etc. See the Boyle case. A structural feature of a RICO enterprise, a hub and spoke the rim. Here is a rimless hub. Shapiro says there is insufficient proof to establish this 20-year-long conspiracy. Mr. Combs did not conspire with any other person. They say an inner circle of bodyguards, but they failed to show it. There's only thin proof they engaged in crimes. At most, these were personal quantities of drugs. They used a lot of Astroglide and baby oil and drank, maybe some drugs. Jonathan Perez said hotel nights were personal time with a female. Brendan Paul said hotel for the night. David James said he saw a naked man in a hotel room, but thought it wasn't a part of his job. The sex with Cassie Ventura and Jane sometimes involved third parties, but they were not booked by staff. It brought them closer to Combs. Jane said to Cabral Williams, "Don't want a team to intercept you." And in May, Jane said she had to wait for the assistants to clear out. When KK and the guards learned of Mr. Combs' violence to Cassie Ventura, it's not racketeering. They did not help. There's no proof that KK thought these women were being coerced. She did damage control. There is evidence that Mr. Combs was lying to her. KK is supposed to be the main co-conspirator. He only appears in March 2016, 12 years in. There is no evidence between the breakup with Cassie in 2018 and the beginning with Jane in 2021. Even for a RICO conspiracy, they have to prove a single agreement. It hasn't been done here. U.S. versus Pizzonia, 577 F3D 455. Even if the court denied this Rule 29 motion, some would not go to the jury. Under the California law and government had to show that the information was about to be given to law enforcement. Back in April, you found lack of probable cause. Mr. Combs was seeking to avoid negative publicity for both himself and Miss Ventura. There was no police involvement. The guard who testified said Miss Ventura did not want to report it. Miss Ventura said the same thing, as did Carrie Morgan. Eddie Garcia said the money was for the video, nothing more. Miss Ventura appeared on FaceTime and said she had a movie coming out and did not want this video coming out. The NDA permitted Garcia to report to law enforcement. On obstruction, they have to show intimidation or threats to hinder or delay, citing Arthur Anderson versus U.S. There must be consciousness of wrongdoing. Here, the incidents involve Mia and Jane. On Mia, there's no actus reus. This is about D-Rock trying to get Mia to speak with Combs, but it sounds like a normal conversation until her radar went off. No threats were communicated. All D-Rock said was Puff wanted to talk with Mia. They wanted her to say something. And then it says PR. Combs, Shapiro continues. Her reactions could not have been foreseeable to D-Rock or Mr. Combs. She did not even answer Mr. Combs' calls later that day. D-Rock didn't bring up money. She did. She says she was out of dollars. D-Rock did on it. D-Rock said, if you don't want to, all good. The prosecutors characterized these as nice messages. There was no evidence D-Rock or Mr. Combs thought Mia felt threatened. So this is not witness tampering. There would have to be proof Mr. Combs knew of a federal investigation at the time. There is none. With respect to Jane, they have November 19, 2023, no threats. Mr. Combs said, this is why when I need you to be there for me. Mr. Combs was already paying Jane's rent. There was nothing in the call about it. This is not corrupt persuasion. There's no federal nexus. Now they want to argue 1591D. That would be a constructive amendment, as we'll say at the charge conference. Anyway, we think the statute is unconstitutional. On forced labor, the statute was meant to enforce the 13th Amendment. It is used for domestic workers, here legally or nor forced to work squalid conditions. There are able-bodied USA citizens perfectly capable of leaving. When they wanted to leave, they did. What the two were most afraid of was losing their job. With respect to for Capricorn Clark, she continued to work to show she hadn't stolen it. Not being paid overtime is not forced labor. Capricorn Clark said Mr. Combs told her, "Get the F out of my house." She says that was crossing my boundaries. She got a higher paying job. She alleged wrongful termination, presumably because she wanted to stay. Then 50 Cent, with respect to Mia, she had a high GPA. She got her later job with Madonna. So the elements are not met with them either. On kidnapping, there's insufficient evidence as to 2 of the 3 allegations. Even if you credit the U.S. witnesses, California Capricorn Clark and the lie detector test, Uncle Polly took her to the building. This does not satisfy New York law. Mr. Combs didn't know. She went willingly every day. The other, Cassie at the London hotel, she says she was taken there and held for several days. California law has 4 elements, not met here. On arson of Kid Cudi's car, no evidence. Mr. Combs was involved. On count 2, Mr. Combs would have to know. I'll focus on his mens rea. It's about what he understood. How could he understand? Cassie said she did the freak offs to make Mr. Combs happy. She didn't communicate with reluctance. Look at the text. In the Intercontinental, the flight happened after the night of sex, and there was no sex after the violence. The video seemed to show that Mr. Combs, after he gets the cell phone, just sits in the chair in the elevator lobby. No mens rea. As to Jane, she engaged in sex for economic benefit. For example, the house. There was only 1 incident of violence, which I'll get to. The fraud theory is deficient as a matter of law. Turk's trip ultimately happened. She wanted to go out to dinner. This would sweep in a lot of romantic partner. It has vagueness problems. People do this all the time. It's not fraud. Immigrants being tricked into sex for green cards is different. He's a wealthy individual but won't take her on a yacht. They never alleged as trafficking of Jane until they found out she was alleging a circle incident of assault. That is telling. This theory of fraud is incredibly weak. The fight at Jane's house in LA, this single act is not sufficient. There's no evidence that escort came from outside of California. Escorts were paid for their time. Both witnesses said they were not prostitutes, Phillips and Hayes. They were called entertainers or escorts. Thank you, Your Honor. The judge asked government. The prosecution says, there's more than enough evidence. Your Honor can reserve on that. If you'd like argument, I'd like a bathroom break. The judge says, I can reserve. The prosecution says the defendant should be allocated. Agnifilo asks, give me a moment, or says, give me a moment. The judge says, Mr. Combs, how are you feeling? Sean Combs says, I'm doing great. I wanted to say thank you. You're doing an excellent job. The judge says, do you understand that whether you testify or not is up to you? Do you understand? Combs says, yes, Your Honor. Is it your decision not to testify? Yes, it is my decision, solely my decision, with my lawyers. Thank you. Shall we take the time to allow stipulations? Agnifilo says yes. And there is a break. Okay. 3:07 p.m. Eastern, they're back. The jury is entering. The judge says, now the defense case. So now the defense is up. They say they need a day. Okay, let me see if you guys have any comments. Black letter law. My question: do you even need a main conspirator? I think no. There are no major and minor conspirators. Wow, that's a good point. Ray, defense attorney got some nerve with this Title 29 request. Yeah. From what I understand, it's standard in these type. Well, in some cases, I guess it's something that they do. And I think there's more opportunities to bring it up, right? Black letter law, if you're still there. Ooh, sorry, I had to take some water. All right. Wow, Wayne said guilty, guilty, guilty. All right, let's get back in the court. All right, so the judge calls the defense, and it doesn't tell me which lawyer, it just says Combs' lawyer. It says we enter into evidence a stipulation about devices provided to the government by Cassandra Ventura, Mr. McLeod, DX 1402. Can you highlight row 5? It says the public screen is not on. The lawyer continues, highlight local use. In quotes, it says, I'm the luckiest woman in the world. I'll get all the pictures together. So many good ones. It says, meanwhile, Combs seated between Westmoreland and Brian Steele, hands Westmoreland a pad. The lawyer continues, local user, I owe you a good night. If you want me to call someone, I need to treat my pop better. I promise I will be better. If I don't, you can leave me, but that won't happen. Says local user Cassie, I love you and thank you for always trying with me. I will be a woman, not a child. I'm leaving that in 2012. Now pull up 1402. Row 66, February 14th through 16th, 2017, DX 1417A. From Violet to Cassandra Ventura. Teamwork makes the dream work. The reporter says that the public exhibit screen is not on for contest photo of flowers in hotel room. The lawyer continues, Mr. Combs writes, you think you can FO without getting high? Cassie says, yes, smiley face. Now 1136R. Blow up the first couple of bubbles. Cassie writes, send me a D pic. And then the lawyer continues. I think it's Geragos. Hold on a second. One second, y'all. Okay. So what is this? Okay, I'm gonna switch over to this lady. So Attorney E. Estevao is up. That's who's up right now. Okay. Send me a D pic, she says. And then Attorney Estevao says she also texts, I just bought baby oil at the store because I couldn't help myself. Then follows up with, I'm proud of us. We've been together a long time. Baby, you do make me happy. I looked at my bracelet and it made me smile. Cassie also writes, you're my best friend, Cece. That message was sent on May 30th, 2017. Combs' attorney, Geragos, takes over. Geragos says, I'll now read from a statement of Daniel Phillip. He was reportedly told to sit on the couch while Mr. Combs took his turn with Cassie. He admitted he felt jealous. Geragos says, regarding Dawn Richard, she met in October 2024, again in April and May of 2025. Notably, the notes do not indicate that Mr. Combs ever said, "Where I'm from, people go missing," and Mr. Hayes stated that he began to develop romantic feelings for Miss Ventura. Garrigo says, concerning Ms. Capricorn Clark, the first 11 of her 13 sessions with law enforcement and federal prosecutors make no mention of any phone call made near Scott Muscuti's car in Los Angeles. In Mia's early interviews, there's no mention of Mr. Combs initiating sex with her. As for Bongolan, her initial statement did not include that Mr. Combs said, "I could kill you," during a photo shoot. Also, it was Exhibit 3288 that was admitted, not 3228. We may have additional items. With that, the defense rests. Wow. Prosecution says the government does not intend to present a rebuttal case. The judge says, jurors, you will not need to report tomorrow. Please return on Thursday. All rise. The jurors exit the courtroom. The judge says, have both parties discussed Thursday's logistics? Comey says, we propose going until 5 p.m. on both Thursday and Friday. Ignifilo says that's acceptable. The judge says, when will I receive the finalized jury instructions? Shapiro says, may we have a moment? The judge says, certainly. Comey says, I'd like to officially withdraw a non-existent exhibit so no one searches for it later. Also, we're requesting that demonstrative exhibit 1512 be unsealed. The judge approves. The demonstrative will be unsealed. Comey says, we expect jurors won't begin deliberating until Monday. There will be extensive arguments and then your instructions. The judge says, understood. The timeline may. Comey says, we'll submit the final jury charge by 7 p.m. The judge says that'll work. We'll reconvene at 10 a.m. Actually, I'm making a slight change. Tomorrow's charge conference will begin at noon. Comey says, we hope the defense won't raise current events or commentary about U.S. government resources during their closing. We believe it would be inappropriate. Ignifilo says that's fine. Okay, so they're adjourned until tomorrow. And there it is. I don't know why. I don't know what those bubbles were about. So it's done. Oh, they bring it back. Okay, after the verdict, they'll bring up Rule 29 again. Okay. Combs knew Capricorn was missing during the 5-day interrogation. Capricorn was his shadow. Defense did 5 minutes and they're done. Right. Which I'm glad. I'm glad they didn't draw it out too much. I'm pretty sure it was way longer than that in the courtroom, but shout out to the people reporting on the ground. All right. So that's where we're at. Let me see. I think I saved something in TikTok. Why is it? It's only Tuesday. Seems like it should be Thursday at least. What is this? Oh, okay. I don't really have much more. I actually have a hard stop today. So I do want to share this again, though, child.
Your ring. I don't think it's hearing. Yes, he's done some stuff that's freaky and wild, but I don't see the racketeering. Yes, he'll beat a woman to a bloody pulp, and he may grab her by her throat, but you got to remember he's the GOAT, so I still don't see no racketeering. Yes, he does ecstasy and other drugs. Yes, he'll kick a girl in her ribs and give her head a thud. He may use his team to do some things like kidnap you, arrange a freaky rendezvous, use a bit of robbery with a sprinkle of extortion, and work you till you drop. Wait, is this the racketeering? Could this be the racketeering? I think it's the racketeering. Yes, is the racketeering. He's just a little freaky and a little wild, but you want us to remember he's God's child. He likes to slip and slide and get a little wild, but you want us to remember he's God's child. But I can see the racketeering. Yes, I can see the racketeering. This is the racketeering. I don't see the racket.
This is the racketeering. Shout out to the Black Letter Law, child. So creative. Yeah, I was hoping he was going to take the stand too. I knew it was too good to be true. So I guess, so they said that the jury is not to report tomorrow, but are they still going to have like open court, or is this just going to be between the judge and the lawyers? I'm curious to know. Or do we need to show up tomorrow? I hope the prosecution played. They need to. I told her to send it to them. They need to have this with their jury instructions. But listen, y'all, it's been a blast as always. I appreciate you, and I love ya. Until tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow. Either way, I'll come back, child, with something. Till then, have a good rest of your day.